This is the second year now that we're doing some root restoration works around the major oak. It's our aim to improve the soil around the really vulnerable root system around the major oak. If you imagine all this really squashed soils, there's literally nothing that can move in there. The roots have got nowhere to spread to. They're being strangled almost. So we're just basically giving them a new lease of life and restoring the soils the whole way around the major oak within the next 5 or so years. So last year we started by assessing a kind of wedge, an area of focus around the root system to establish really how far it was spreading and what state it was in. And that gave us really good information on where we should next focus our work. So this autumn, we're expanding the area of work that we did last time.
So we are stripping back the vegetation. So the guys have already been in this morning, trimmed back some of the grass. Now volunteers are removing some of that turf, and then we'll be loosening up the soil, add more oxygen to it before we add some natural organic matter that's collected from the surrounding woodlands. So that means we're adding long-term food sources, we're adding indigenous microbiology back to the soil around the tree. And the idea is that we'll kind of have a soil ecosystem immediately around it that ultimately end up feeding the tree and ensuring its vitality.
Every time that we're here, we work with the soil scientists, the specialists, the tree consultants who help us shape the work that we're doing. So we're constantly testing, constantly monitoring and constantly adapting our work to make sure that it's got the best chance possible of success.
When you're dealing with natural processes, and especially trees of this age, things tend to take time. And as humans, we're incredibly impatient because we like to know that what we've done has had an immediate effect. So I'd expect to see those sorts of changes to occur quite slowly perhaps. It's an old tree that we've got to be particularly sensitive and careful around, so we don't want to do anything too drastic. So the idea, broadly speaking, is to kind of give it the tools and the resources to support itself into the future and minimise our own interventions.
It's kind of too early at the moment to see whether our work is working. So we know that it's definitely not harming the tree, but we're just about to analyse all of the last year's data and kind of really see what's been happening in the soils, what's been happening in the canopy. It will take a little bit of time for it to respond, so we're not expecting a lush, green canopy to appear in just 1 year's worth of work, but we might see changes within the soil. We might see more organisms come in, more worms, more moles, that kind of thing. And people should look out for what the appearance within the major oak enclosure is going to look like now. We'll be allowing the vegetation to grow up. The nutrients will be allowed to be restored back to the soils instead of stripping them away by mowing every year. So it might look as though it's a little bit untidy and we're leaving it to nature, but it's all intended